Welcome to an episode of InRange. I'm coming to you today with obviously another lever gun video, but we're not talking about lever guns per se, we're talking about ammunition. And we have a division that I've added to the brutality matches called Deadeye, and it's doing quite well. We're actually seeing a lot of people coming and shooting in the Deadeye division. Deadeye division is a cowboy style shooting, so lever guns, single action armies, pump action 1897 shotguns, etc. It's not about that, it's not about the match. But one of the things I've done is recommended to people who are interested in getting into Deadeye and shooting with us in these divisions to acquire essentially one lever gun. And what I have said is that you're probably going to be best off getting a 357 Magnum /38 Special lever gun. This one is from Heritage Manufacturing. There's already a video up on the channel about it. It is chambered for 357 Magnum, but you can shoot 38 Special in it all day long. And so the point of this video is it safe to do so? The answer is yes, it's safe to do so. If a gun is chambered for 357 Magnum, it can handle 38 Special all day long. The pressures are lower, the velocities are lower. 357 Magnum is a much more powerful cartridge. It's just the chamber length. But something has happened that's interesting. People have taken that, and maybe I misspoke a little bit, that you can just interchange. You can just use 357 Magnum and then shoot 38 Special for the close range cartridges and then switch back to 357 Magnum and go back and forth. So I have a target at 10 yards, so I stick in some 38 Specials, and then I've got a target at 100 yards, so I shoot 357 Magnum. And while that's safe, meaning the gun won't explode, that can and will cause a problem. So I'm going to talk about what that problem is, and I think I got the right answer for all of you out there if you're interested in Deadeye or just in general. All right, so what we have here are two cartridges, 38 Special, 357 Magnum. I think the obvious thing you can tell right off the bat is that if you didn't know this already, 357 Magnum is just longer than 38 Special. That's how it does what it does. 38 Special started off as an old school black powder cartridge, and case volume mattered. Quickly moved into the future with smokeless. 357 Magnum was developed later, and by making the cartridge case longer, they were able to add more powder and increase velocity and pressures. Because with these types of cartridges, which are rimmed, meaning you can see there's a rim on the back there, the headspace is actually on the rim, not the mouth of the cartridge. So when this chambers into the chamber, this 38 Special sits like that. It's longer, right? This is obvious. You can see that right here on the video. The thing about that is that as you fire 38 Special over and over and over again, dirt, fouling, lead, etc., will form a ring of dirt and fouling there. Sometimes called a carbon ring, could be a lead ring, whatever, but this ring is in the chamber. So if you're shooting a diet of only 38 Special and then suddenly decide, I want to hit that 100-yard target and put in a 357 Magnum, it'll go past and is longer than that ring of fouling that's now in the chamber. And in certain environments, particularly ones in like West Virginia, for example, where there's a lot of humidity, etc., it might be that when this bolt goes to extract the cartridge, pull it out so that you can fire the next one, that ring of fouling actually is so intense that it causes you to not be able to extract the cartridge, and you get a stuck case in the chamber. So bad, in fact, that sometimes it'll even split the case, and you got to punch it out and you got to work on it to get that out of there, essentially rendering the gun completely useless until you can fix it. So if you want to shoot 38s in a 357 Magnum, you better stick to 38 until you want to switch to 357 Magnum. What you want to do is thoroughly clean the chamber to get rid of that ring so that you don't have this problem. However, if you're normally shooting 357 Magnum, or I should say 357 Magnum length cartridge cases, that fouling ring will be here. And when you chamber at 38, it's actually before the actual cartridge case. So if you have that fouling ring from 357 Magnum, you will not have the same problem ejecting a 38 Special. So you can go from 357 Magnum to 38 and have no problems. But if you're shooting mostly 38s and go to 357 Magnum, that's where the problem occurs, and you might find yourself having a downed gun. So 357 Magnum comes in all sorts of incarnations, and these are just cowboy action loads, which tend to be downloaded, right? That is what it is. That's normal for cowboy action shooting and perfectly fine for competition shooting. But if you're hunting or doing other things, you might want to use full power 357 Magnum, and that's fine. Let's say you want to come to a Deadeye match and shoot in our brutality event, and you've been shooting 357 Magnum mostly. You could shoot 38 Special through the whole event without a problem because that ring will be in front of the cartridge case mouth. However, maybe you don't want to even deal with a fouling ring from 38 Special. So I went and looked around and I was curious. You can't shoot full power 357 Magnum at close range steel targets due to velocity issues, spalling, and potential damage. But I was curious and I looked up Magtech's Cowboy action loads. And their 38 Special is pretty underloaded. It's not very high velocity. And their 357 Magnum is quite better. So 38 Special from them on paper is 150 grain bullet at around 800 feet per second. But their 357 Magnum is 158 grain bullet at just under 1100. So their Cowboy Action 357 Magnum is legitimately more potent than their 38 Special Cowboy Action. So here's where this gets interesting. What I would recommend, if you're buying a lever gun for the purposes of shooting in our matches, dead-eye brutality, this might be the thing to get. Just standardize on Magtech Cowboy Action 357 Magnum, and you'll never have that fouling ring problem, ever. And you're still underneath the maximum velocities of even close-range targets. On top of that, I think this stuff will spin a spinner quite well. Okay, so it's only after extensive use that you'll have this problem. A couple rounds of 38 Special followed up by from 357 Magnum will be fine, but lots of 38 Special, then 357 Magnum won't be fine. I've got here some of the Magtech 38 Special Cowboy Action. I chronoed this. It's coming out of this gun at about 800 feet per second, 158 grain bullet. I do want to have a shout out here for True Shot Ammo. They supplied this ammunition to the channel to just support the cause and support InRange TV. And thank you to True Shot Ammo. If you want to buy some ammo, I have to recommend them. They're supporters of InRange and our community. So thank you guys. So I'm going to do just one round of, I got 12 rounds in the magazine in this. I'm going to see if I can spin the spinner with this. This is just the 38 Special. And nope, I couldn't. 12 rounds didn't do it. So now I'm going to go grab the Magtech 357 Magnum, which I chronoed and actually was coming out of this at 1200 feet per second. So 400 feet per second is a significant difference. Let's see what happens with that. Okay, this is the Magnum, 357 Magnum from Magtech, 1200 feet per second. Now, one thing is, of course, because it's a longer cartridge length overall, your magazine tube dictates how much you can actually put in the gun. So instead of 12, I now have 10. But let's see what happens. Easily. I think we have a definitive answer here. If you are interested in shooting dead-eye with us and you have acquired a 357 Magnum lever action, whatever make and model, I'm going to highly recommend the Magtech 357 Magnum Cowboy Action ammunition. 158 grain bullet, 1200 feet per second. The effect on target was dramatically different. You're still under the maximum velocity for steel targets at close range, and you're getting a lot better performance than you were out of the standard 38 Special. Before you ask, and I know you're going to, does this same problem exist with revolvers? And the answer is yes. If you shoot a bunch of 38 Special in revolver and then switch to 357 Magnum, those cartridge cases can get kind of stuck in there. But it's not as catastrophic as it is with a repeater like this, in which when you're actually manipulating the action, you're expecting to extract and eject the round, and then you can't. So, all said and done, if you get a gun like this in 357 Magnum, I recommend you shoot 357 Magnum length cartridge cases, so you'll never have that issue. And if you're not shooting with Deadeye, who cares? Shoot whatever 357 Magnum you want. If you want to shoot 38 Special, just clean the chamber out extensively before switching to a longer cartridge case, such as 357 Magnum. But if you are interested in shooting Deadeye at a brutality match and you have a 357 Magnum lever gun, that Magtech 357 Magnum is absolutely the answer. That stuff's great, cycles well, and works well on targets. So once again, thank you to True Shot Ammo for providing the ammunition for this video. Thank you for supporting InRange in our community. But also thank you to you, the viewer, that have supported this channel now for 10 years, keeping it alive. We are proactively demonetized, not promoted by the algorithm, but you people out there that keep this channel alive via patreon.com/InRangeTV are amazing. Thank you so much. If you can consider it and aren't already, please do so. Patreon.com/InRangeTV. Literally every dollar counts. We have some perks there, early access to brutality matches, some content that we don't publish otherwise, like a quarterly Q&A, AMA style Q&As, and some other fun stuff as well, the Discord. So again, patreon.com/InRangeTV. But if you can't, I understand. Just subscribe to the channel, hit the bell. You may not be notified because we're shadow banned, but more importantly, share this video with your friends if you think that they'd find it interesting or helpful. Thanks for watching.